Welcome back to our channel, folks. It is a gorgeous, sun-shining day, and we are absolutely thrilled to sit down and share the latest happenings with you. Grab a warm cup of coffee, settle into your favorite comfy chair, and let us dive right into the heart of Port Charles, because we have got a story today that is going to knock your socks right off. I have to tell you, I have been watching the goings-on at General Hospital for longer than I can rightly remember, and just when I think I have seen absolutely everything this town has to offer, something comes along and completely pulls the rug right out from under me. It is one of those moments that makes you want to call up your best friend on the telephone and just gasp in pure disbelief. We all know that life in Port Charles is never dull, but the events that just unfolded right in the middle of the hospital corridors are the kind of things they write legends about. I am still trying to wrap my own head around it, and I just know you are going to feel the exact same way when we unpack all of this together. Let us set the scene a little bit, because you really need to feel the atmosphere of the hospital on this particular day. Elizabeth Baldwin was going about her usual business, doing what she does best. Now, we all know our dear Elizabeth is an absolute pillar of strength in that hospital. Bless her heart, that woman has seen more medical emergencies, more heartbreaks, and more miraculous recoveries than almost anyone else walking those halls. She is a seasoned nurse who knows the human body inside and out, and she knows what is medically possible and what is just plain fiction. So when I tell you that something happened to make Elizabeth Baldwin stop dead in her tracks and look like she had just seen a ghost, it is something truly earth-shattering. Out of nowhere, Drew shows up for what is supposed to be a routine health check. But here is the kicker, and I am telling you, my jaw nearly hit the floor when I witnessed this. He was not being wheeled in. He was not leaning heavily on a cane or struggling to take a breath. Drew was walking. He was standing tall, striding right into that hospital with a purpose, looking completely normal. For anyone who has been following his agonizing journey lately, seeing him on his own 2 feet is nothing short of impossible. I mean, we are talking about a man who was utterly paralyzed, a man whose condition was so severe that the doctors were shaking their heads and preparing for the absolute worst. I could practically feel the shock radiating off of Elizabeth. You could see the wheels turning in her brilliant mind as she stared at him, completely dumbfounded. Her medical training was screaming at her that this simply could not be happening. The speed of his recovery defies every single law of medicine, every textbook, and every chart she has ever studied. For a man to go from being completely paralyzed to walking around like he just woke up from a refreshing Sunday afternoon nap is utterly absurd. I felt so much sympathy for Elizabeth in that moment, because it is one thing to hope for the best, but it is another thing entirely to have your entire understanding of medical science turned upside down right in front of your very eyes. And Elizabeth was not the only one caught in this whirlwind of disbelief. Our lovely Felicia Scorpio happened to be right there as well. And if you know anything about Felicia, you know she is a woman who has lived 1,000 lives. She has been on wild adventures, faced down dangerous criminals, and seen the absolute strangest things this world has to offer. It takes a whole awful lot to surprise Felicia Scorpio. But seeing Drew walking and talking as if nothing had ever happened to him left her absolutely speechless. She could not hide her astonishment, and she flat out called it a medical miracle. Hearing a woman as grounded and experienced as Felicia use the word miracle really puts into perspective just how monumental this moment truly is. But as I sat there watching this incredible scene unfold, feeling the joy and the shock of these wonderful women, a dark and heavy realization started creeping into my mind. We know the truth, do we not? We know exactly why Drew was in that terrible state to begin with. It was not some random illness or a tragic accident. It was Willow. Just saying her name in connection to this nightmare sends a shiver down my spine. Sweet, beautiful Willow, a girl so many of us have rooted for, was the one who poisoned him. She was the one who deliberately injected him with that paralytic drug, trapping him inside his own body. It is the kind of betrayal that makes your stomach churn, especially when you think about how much trust was broken. Now, here is where the story gets incredibly complicated and so wonderfully juicy. Drew is standing there, looking like $1,000,000, soaking in the amazed reactions from Elizabeth and Felicia. He knows exactly what Willow did to him. He knows every single dark detail of her betrayal. And yet, he is keeping his mouth shut. He is holding up his end of the bargain they made, refusing to march down to the police station and report her for poisoning him. To the outside world, he is just a man who experienced a miraculous healing. But oh, we know better. We know that behind those eyes, Drew is harboring a secret so explosive it could level the entire town. I have to admit, watching him play this game gave me goosebumps. It takes a very specific kind of strength and maybe a little bit of darkness to look your friends in the eye and smile while you are carrying the knowledge that someone tried to destroy you. Drew is honoring the deal to stay quiet. But let me be clear as a bell about one thing. He has absolutely not forgiven Willow, not by a long shot. If anything, the fact that he is keeping this secret makes him even more dangerous. He is not just going to let bygones be bygones. He is a man who was robbed of his mobility, his freedom, and his safety, and he is quietly, methodically preparing a plan to completely ruin Willow. It is like watching a master chess player setting up his pieces on the board. While Willow is probably sitting somewhere right now, breathing a sigh of relief and thinking she has gotten away with the crime of the century, Drew is quietly plotting her absolute downfall. And what makes this so incredibly fascinating to me is how he is using this exact moment, this medical miracle, to his advantage. By showing up and shocking Elizabeth and Felicia, he is drawing them in. He is creating a bond with them, a shared experience of awe and wonder. He is subtly building an alliance, weaving these strong, respected women into his orbit. I can see exactly what he is doing, and it is brilliant, albeit a little terrifying. By aligning himself with Elizabeth and Felicia, he is building a fortress of credibility and support around himself. When the time finally comes for him to drop the hammer on Willow, he is going to have some of the most trusted women in Port Charles standing firmly in his corner. This is not just a simple act of revenge anymore. This is becoming a deep-seated obsession for Drew. He is consumed by the need to make Willow pay for the nightmare she put him through, and he is willing to use every tool at his disposal, including the genuine care and concern of his friends, to make it happen. And Lord have mercy, we cannot talk about Willow being in danger without talking about her mother. Just thinking about Nina's role in all of this makes my heart race. We all know that Nina loves her daughter with a fierce, protective, mama bear kind of love. Nina has fought tooth and nail to build a relationship with Willow, and there is absolutely nothing she would not do to protect her child. Right now, Nina and Willow are completely unaware of the massive storm that is gathering right over their heads. They are living in this fragile little bubble, thinking the worst is behind them because Drew agreed to keep quiet. But when that bubble bursts, and oh my goodness, it is going to burst with the force of a dynamite explosion, the fallout is going to be catastrophic. Drew's new obsession with destroying Willow is going to crash head-on into Nina's desperate need to protect her daughter. We are looking at a collision course between a man who is paralyzed by betrayal and a mother who will burn the world down to save her child. It is going to be a battle for the ages, and the tension is already so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. I honestly find myself holding my breath just thinking about what is going to happen next. It is the anticipation that gets you, is it not? Knowing that underneath all these smiles at the hospital, underneath the kind of the medical charts and the friendly chatter, there is a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. Drew is smiling today, but he is sharpening his knives for tomorrow. Elizabeth and Felicia are celebrating a miracle, completely unaware that they are being drawn into a web of vengeance, and Willow and Nina are walking right into a trap that they cannot even see. I tell you, this is why we love these stories so much. It is the raw emotion, the unbelievable twists, and the way these characters pull us right into their messy, complicated lives. I am going to be glued to my screen, watching every single move Drew makes, and I just know you will be right there with me. We are going to have to keep a very close eye on this situation, because when the truth finally comes to light, Port Charles is never going to be the same again. Let us all hold on to our hats, because the storm is just getting started, and it is going to be an absolutely wild ride.